Mary, the mother of Jesus, holds an important place in the teaching of the Catholic Church. Mary was the inspiration for some of the great artworks of the past. Since medieval times, churches and cathedrals have been built in honor of her name. Today, Mary continues to be honored by millions of Catholics around the world. What does the Catholic Church teach about Mary? Catholic teaching about Mary has developed over the centuries. At the Council of Ephesus in 431 AD, Mary was given the title of Mother of God. 200 years later, the Church declared that she was a perpetual virgin. In 1854, Pope Pius IX proclaimed the Immaculate Conception of Mary, that essentially teaches that Mary was without sin. A century later, Pope Pius XII stated that Mary ascended bodily into heaven and was exalted as Queen. And at the Second Vatican Council in 1964, Pope Paul VI proclaimed Mary to be the Mother of the Church. To these official Church teachings are added the unofficial beliefs that Mary is a mediator between Catholics and her Son Jesus, that she is a co-redeemer with Jesus and an advocate for the faithful. Mary is considered blessed in the Bible because she gave birth to Jesus. But not one of these teachings about Mary can be found in the pages of the Bible. In fact, Mary, the mother of Jesus, is mentioned only 19 times in the Bible, with just one of those mentions outside the Gospel accounts. Her son Jesus, on the other hand, is mentioned almost 500 times throughout the New Testament. The Bible clearly teaches that He is God incarnate. For example, in Hebrews chapter 1, Jesus is born by His virgin mother Mary in Matthew chapter 1. But the Gospel accounts suggest that Mary didn't remain a virgin because Jesus is described as having brothers and sisters. In 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 21, the Apostle Paul proclaims that Jesus was without sin. In Acts chapter 2, the Apostle Peter declares to the Jews that Jesus ascended into heaven as King. Again, the Apostle Paul declares that Jesus is the head of the Church in Colossians chapter 1, that He is the one mediator between God and man in his first letter to Timothy, and Redeemer in Titus chapter 2. And finally, it is the Apostle John in his first letter who declares Jesus as our advocate. When you compare the Bible's teachings about Jesus to the Catholic Church's teaching about Mary, you can see that in the Catholic Church, Mary effectively replaces Jesus and His work. Even though the Church says that Mary has not replaced Jesus but cooperates with her Son in His work of salvation, to add Mary to the work Jesus alone does is actually to take away from the salvation that Jesus has won for us when He died on the cross. God does not tell us in the Bible to look to Mary for help in times of need, because Mary cannot help us. Instead, God tells us to look to Jesus in our time of need, because only Jesus was tempted like we are, yet was without sin. The writer to the Hebrews says of Jesus, "We do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sin. Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need."